back to this forge and be like, oh wow, like we actually even this whole conversation we had on your stream.
Yeah, I mean, I was streaming, but I wasn't streaming audio.
I know you weren't, but like,
But
that's
now
what
I
I'm
am.
saying. I'm gonna go right now, take a shower. I'll be
Yep.
back in like 30 minutes, and then
Let's just map out like even if we map out like the first 60 videos, because I think if you like structure, let's just get a massive structure that isn't like a deadline structure, but more like this is the roadmap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
we can do that
yeah.
easy.
Another 10 years, but yeah. Okay, cool. So then,
Yeah, go take a shower.
yeah.
Stinky.
All right, I'll go take a shower.
Hey,
Yeah,
stinky.
I know I am stinky because honestly, just the cornfields. And then and then you can you can put me back on stream audio, and then we can like pretend like we're just starting all over. Except we're this is still the beginning.
Yes.
All right, cool. I will see you in 30.
Sounds good. Love you, my brother.
All right, love you too, my brother. Bye.
Bye. Ta-da-da-ba-da-bum.
Like Severia. Wait, what? What? Don't worry, Severia. It just means a discharge oil. While some oil is necessary to moisturize and protect the skin, overabundance. What's vegan? Another common complaint includes pruritus or itch. This complaint is common in several diagnoses, including xeroderma or dry skin. Urticaria or hives is another common dermatological complaint. Hives are usually associated with allergic reactions and can even be triggered by emotional distress. In addition to general complaints, some patients may complain about conditions related to how dry or oily their skin is, like seborrhea. Wait, what? What? Don't worry, seborrhea. It just means a discharge oil. While some oil is necessary to moisturize and protect the skin, overabundance. However, sometimes sweating occurs at inappropriate times, like when the body does not need to cool down or an excessive amount. I did not just. Hyperhidrosis can even be treated with Botox injections to temporarily sterilize your overactive sweat glands. While most of us sweat more than you might think, true hyperhidrosis is it is for too long. Eventually, that requires mutations and discoloration of the skin, areas that create the darkening of it. Sometimes patients will seek out dermatology services to treat hereditary or hormonal issues, or even the normal condition. The opposite of alopecia is hypertrichosis, or too much hair. This excessive growth of hair can occur on different areas of the body and to different extents in different individuals. It is shown here on the back of a young child. Most cases of hypertrichosis are of unknown cause. It sounds like a sweetie crystal.
Oh no, he's going to shower. He's gonna come back.
Oh, okay. Were you guys talking RPG stuff?
Yeah, we're gonna when he comes back, we're gonna get a whole layout for the RPG stuff. Yeah, so
What do you want to do in the meantime?
I am not opposed to anything.
Okay. Well, I have about an hour before I have to take that thing out of the oven, so. Whatever.
We could do that save file that we had with Sammy and Repo with all the weapons if we wanted to go further in the box hunting.
Yeah, would you want to do that, or do you want to do? Trying to think. So in 15 minutes, I have to change the temperature, but then that's it. I don't have to like do anything else.
Okay.
So I guess more like 11 minutes now, but otherwise then I'll have like an uninterrupted 50 minutes.
Yeah, whatever game you think is best for your time frame.
Let's see if we can do like one level of Repo.
Okay. I'm okay with that. New save file or old one?
I don't know how like things gonna work
Yeah, so we can just do that one because we'll be fast. I mean, if we die, we die. Yeah, the freely die for game. How's the process going?
Good. I just did like a quick rub on it. Just like a garlic herb rub. So that would be any good.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, first for everything. So.
All right.
I get my
Oh hey. What's so funny? You'll see my character. You'll see my character. Just my stupid
God.
hair. All right. Well, here's our weapons. So, here I'll take the bat and the void staff. 125 out of 140. Bro, absolutely, yeah. Alright, this is a... Yeah, you take the Trent gun, that gun, and... the feather drone, maybe? Or zero gravity staff, good. Wait, do you want the Trent gun? Well,
I got the pocket first.
oh, I mean, you can just drop the pocket
Actually, no,
cart.
you're gonna use the pocket
Oh,
first.
shit.
Right, and then I'll-
Yeah. Yeah. And then I guess we'll leave the zero gravity staff if we need anything else carried. Hell yeah. Let's do it. How much health you got?
51.
Wait, why don't you eat the other one?
I could, but I don't know. If I die, then it'll be nice to not be on one.
That's true, that's true. Okay.
Oh,
I know. Invited headman.
the stupid breath. How do I-
Wait, is that the pocket card? Where's the pocket card? Oh, there it is. It's time to monster hunt. I'm just gonna leave this here as we get stuff. Oh, is there anything upstairs? No. Okay, okay. Well, I want her.
I think we should wait in this room.
Oh yeah, this is also a dead end right here, so... Oh, do you want to get the rhino as I get ready to kill her? Yeah, this is also a one entrance area, so I'll just kind of wait. I'm just in this room because this is also like there's only one way to enter.
Is it better to be in that room or?
Yeah, it's more open.
Oh, you're right. You can't.
I guess you can get the rhino in the meantime. It's to my right. Just manning the station. What the hell? You shoot the gun if you want. You're late. Come on. Any day now.
We'll grab the other card.
Okay. Yeah, please do. There she is. You're late. Welcome to the internet. Have a look around. Damn, you're so ugly! Yeah. Alright. I feel like the bowler's gonna be here. I just have like a big feeling. I have a baseball bat. What is this? Oh, stupid kid. Alright, the kid's dead. Yeah, baby's dead. Or whatever that stupid teleporting bitch. Damn, 2,000. Oh, sorry, I was trying to get the balls. Oh, sorry. What else is in here? Ocarina. Alright, let's see what's... No way. There's two big clocks. Yeah. We're gonna have to put them in the cart for sure, though. Alright. Yeah. I mean, we could just feather drone.
Because they're kind of annoying to try to maneuver with the card.
I agree, yeah. As long as nothing walks through that door.
I hate this fucking
Alright, as you deal with the clocks, I'll just...
can't make me
I'm gonna do my best not to die, but I wanna make sure nothing comes in as you do the clock. How's it coming along? Oh. Is it working? How's it going?
good. Just kinda
Honestly, feather drone,
Too much value.
kind of nice. Dude, that's dude, insane.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, you lost like no value on that. I'll make sure it doesn't move.
Is that gonna stand up?
Yeah, I'll hold it. Cool.
Not too bad.
Yeah, dude, you like lost like nothing on that.
Yeah, I think it lost like 600 or almost 1k, but not really. No.
Stupid dog.
I got about 1 minute on my timer before I finish the camp.
Okay, yeah.
Start this next one until I come back.
Alright, yeah.
I'm just gonna hang out under a table or something.
Sounds good. I'll just man the front door.
And maybe I'll try to put the screen cover.
What the hell? Enemies are just spawning in this room. Wait, enemies can just spawn in the room that you're in? What the hell? We were inactive for so long that enemies started spawning in our room. Do you have the gun? Yeah, the 3 enemies spawned in this room. The head grabber guy, the clown, the bike. Oh, and the roulette guy. Yeah. No, please, please, please. Why? Yeah, we should probably get that vase though. Oops, sorry. Nah, that's stupid chandelier. Oh, we could put this in extraction right away.
Yeah. Maybe using all that value.
I think so actually. Once it's in there, come on. Oh, stupid! It stubbed its toe. I don't lost value. Yeah, this would have been a pain in the ass to try and do 2 of these. Come on, bro. Okay, there we go. Okay, yeah, let's go get that vase. Yeah. Alright, cool. Alright, let me recharge my stuff.
Mother Witch is back on me.
Okay, yeah, we'll kill her. In the meantime, we can try and get the vase.
Did you get her?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, nice.
Alright, there's the vase upstairs. We could put it in the cart. That's the mini one.
Get that.
Yeah, I should do that for now so we can extract. Wait, I have 2 strength. What am I doing? Shit. I didn't even realize. That would have been helpful. Could have just done that myself.
It's not too bad.
Cool. Mother Witch, your balls. I think they're gonna fall off. What happened? Oh. Yeah. Stupid kid. Where you at? Alright, cool. So many balls. I don't even know where to put this one.
Might have to just pocket that.
Ugh.
Or actually, you can fit right.
Oh, what? It broke on the other ball? Hello?
Yeah. We were separating from each other.
I can't even get this thing up. Thank you. Sorry. Sworn. Just trying to make sure the ball doesn't fall off. Alright. I know. And there's actually one more thing. It's right here. Is it on? I can't see. Okay, so now what? We could feather drone the clock in.
Good. Well, let's definitely keep this one.
Yeah. Should we do clock in front of other clock?
Yeah, I was thinking double clock and then with this part in front of it.
Yeah, and the pocket cart behind the big cart.
Yeah, don't put feather clock.
Probably, it'd probably just be easier. Alright, I'll be like on the side to help it go. But I think we just run it.
You know when you're ready for me to start, what I'm gonna do is once I'm done with the clock, I'm gonna do the one with the protein that involves the base.
Alright.
The lineup part.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Alright.
Nah, that's it, that's it. Holy crap, that's a massive extraction. Looks like you're gonna get a big one. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Three cards, it's not gonna fall in any of them.
Hey. Welcome back, brother.
Hey, thank you, brother. Dana here too? Or is he still cooking?
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
I'll take that as he's still cooking.
and I'm just
Oh, welcome back.
We're just doing a quick round and then we'll hop back to our to business.
Oh, are you guys doing Reaper?
Yeah. And then we'll hop back on to business when you're ready.
Alright, well, not when you're ready, because I'm just letting him do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, pocket cart, nice. Nice. Dude, $68,000? 2 pounds of chicken?
It's 2 pounds of chicken.
Alright. Let's go kill more things. We can, yeah, but I'm too lazy. I have photon.
This is table.
This is probably extraction. Yep. And it's on a precarious ledge for you to die on. We'll do it last. It's extraction, but we'll do it last since it's close to the front.
Oh yeah.
And it's in like the worst spot ever. Is it? Oh, yes it is. You could shrink it first. Oh yeah. Ooh. What the hell? Well, it's a big ass dinosaur downstairs. And there's another extraction right here. Dino, yeah. Do we want to do this extraction last, or do we want to just do it now? We can feather into extraction. Speaking of extraction, do we want to do... It's like right here. Do we want to do this one, or do we want to do an even further one and come back to this?
Let's do hold on, actually.
Should we just...
Let's do this one because there's nothing around here.
Well, if we just keep going, we can come back for dinosaur. Yeah, where's Moneybag? Okay, cool. Alright, yeah, we'll just keep going. I'll leave Moneybag behind though, so it doesn't like die.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. But there's probably a box somewhere upstairs, is my guess. Is that a big hole?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's no room left. Like, I might accidentally wait for it just like this.
That's what I'm saying. More hole? Yeah, nothing in here. Yeah, we'll just get this. Yeah, there's probably something up these beds that we have to get. Yeah, I didn't bring money bag, so. But I bet there's something up here that's big enough for us to extract. I can put you up there.
Hey, don't work yourself.
Oh, big base.
Of course. Like a chonky one or just like
Yeah, yeah.
chonky? Okay, yeah. You might be able to just drop it in cart. I don't know where it is, but
It's over here. Like, you see me?
yeah, I'm gonna close this door. Okay. Yeah, I see you.
It's behind here. Yeah.
Behind there.
Right where it's right where the door opens into that nothing room. Yep, just like that.
I'll try and catch it. I will catch you.
I will catch.
If you just, yeah, because I'm pretty strong, I think. That should be,
You got it.
yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Nice. Yeah, this is enough for extraction, I'm pretty sure. How do we even get over?
No, we can put like a ball in there.
Oh, yeah, true.
I just want to open up and see.
Ewy. There's probably like one more thing up there now. Anything else up there?
Yeah, let's move the cart and just pick up a couple small items and then we're good to go.
Is there anything else up here?
Not up there, but there's
Yeah. There's another layer though.
stack. Oh, there is.
Yeah, there's a third layer.
What was the layers?
I wonder if I...
It's the roulette guy.
For that guy? Okay. Do you want to shank him. Oh, mother, which one's me? What the fuck?
Oh man, you shot my ass. Shit. Well, I'm gonna go check on pork.
Bro, everyone just exploded. Oh, hey. You wanna go in the hole? What? Whatever. That works out.
Alright, I'll let you guys get back to the RPG stuff.
Well, what were your thoughts on it, though?
What thoughts? I came in like the last 2 seconds before you went to go shower.
What? thought you were there like the whole time.
Nope. I
Oh.
was just there when Josh was talking about the one guy with his TikToks, and that was it.
Ah, I see. Well, because I guess I was kind of in this dilemma now. Like I got back into like working on it a bit today, and was just like doing some more writing, and I kind of was like taking a step back, and I'm like, this is one of those hobbies that I do want to see some type of end product. I know I've talked about for a while, like in terms of the adaptability of it. I'm like flexible. I'm just like, I know I like the big league is like having it as an actual RPG, which was the initial thought, and like what I'm kind of building around. But I don't mind if that isn't what it turns out to be, just because I know I'm not capable of making a game. So I was just kind of like, brainstorming with Josh, like what are some ways, because I need to keep myself accountable to make things happen. And I like working on deadlines. Like I really enjoyed doing all the writing for VBS. Like that was a lot of fun, and I feel like when I have some type of deadline or thing that I'm working for, that I get some of my better ideas under pressure, and it helps me build it out. I mean, over the last 10 years when I felt inspired, I've like written things in characters, but sometimes though I'm like, like what am I writing it for? And then like I'm inspired, and then it just goes nowhere, and then I'm like, man, like I need some more accountability here, like I need a team. I need somebody that's counting on me, or helps keep me accountable at the very least, to just like keep writing and just keep pouring into kind of building out the story and the characters. And I was kind of just like asking Josh, like particularly I guess like for you guys as like partners, investors, like what would it take for you to partner with me? Like what do you want to see,
I mean,
like genuinely out of it? I know we're talking about Josh. I was just asking Danny.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, I really do see it as like your baby. So I think like I would rather defer to you on like what format you think is portraying it in the most like authentic light. And I realize that the idea of a game still, I mean, like it still could be viable. I think the problem with is that like you want to write a story, but then there's also like the whole game design mechanics and having a satisfying gameplay loop that you would have to consider as well. So now you're kind of putting yourself in the shoes of a game designer, even though you haven't designed the game. So I get the struggle there. I still feel like it would be like a fine RPG format. Like I still feel like it would fit fine in that format. It's just I would probably like, I was helping out, I would probably be working on like the gameplay mechanics and making it more of like how do we make this a game that people are satisfied not only just by getting the story but also by playing.
And is that something that you would actually like be interested in doing? Like just purely, like not just because I'm your brother or because like I have this thought or dream for it, but like would you actually want to partake in that?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I thought about designing games before, but they're all like low polygon, 3-dimensional game ideas that seem kind of funny. Things like Muck, like that kind of style of like a really crappy art style with a really funny and satisfying, just like collaborative procedural world kind of thing. But I'm sure there's plenty of good tools, like if you wanted to even dabble with doing like pixel art and sprites yourself. Like I'm pretty sure it's a pretty accessible first game to kind of make, because you're not dealing with like physics engines or anything like that. It's just sprites and pixels and designing maps. Maybe you could go like with a typical like Pokemon grid type system where everything is a grid and you can just start designing the art.
I've thought about that, but like kind of going back to like what you're interested in, like I said, I'm kind of down to like make it adaptable, and even if it only has bare bone elements of it, like if you actually had a desire but not as much direction to want to build some type of like Muck related endeavor, why can't we fuse some elements of this story into that and like partner to just have something that exists, even if it's like a far-reaching, I don't know, game to to
Right,
what.
but it would kind of butcher the story because I think the story would end up taking a backseat because the format is so unserious.
Yeah, but I've created a whole world in which it doesn't even have to be the main world that's represented. It could actually just be a part of it that feeds into the overall story, should it be able to eventually one day manifest into something more developed. Like, there are a lot of like side characters and things that are even existing or doing things in particular realms that I could see this being like semi-related, but is more like Easter egg material. Yeah.
It could be, yeah. Like some of the ideas I've had for those types of games. One, because it's easier to draw a car than a person when it comes to animating.
Mhm.
But a funny idea that I've had that I've wanted to do for a while once I get into like the 3D game space is so it's kind of like Muck, but instead of a person, you play as a Mars rover, and of course it could be like a first level game where you know you have like different colored rovers that get dropped on a planet, and you're supposed to like collect samples of like the world, and there could be like a building element too, but it just seems like one of those type of games where it's sort of Minecraft-y, where you get dropped on an open world because it's a different planet that you're meant to explore and you're meant to gather stuff. It's not very fleshed out, but I feel like as a physics engine and a funny way to just move around and do shit, like that's kind of cool.
I mean, you know, like everybody's building lore into everything. So like even things that are seemingly funny or simple, like what if that still has random elements tied to the overall RPG, even if it almost seems like not related? Like, you know, like people try to build like even like Lethal Company, right? Where it's like simple, funny, just it's fairly straightforward in what it's doing, but there's like little elements of like that you're like, okay, well, I can build lore from this, and you know, what if there was an actual, you know, like the company, like what is the company? And it's
That's kind of why I like it so much, to be honest. I mean, you know, Lethal as a game, like, it's so interesting, but half the fun is like, this person built a cohesive world around the gameplay loop. So now
Yes.
it's not just like, you know, funny masked man collects garbage. It's like, you know, there's a reason you're collecting garbage, and you kind of want to know more. So I do kind of like that. I just don't want to like, I don't want to commandeer your story to make it fit what I already have in mind for what the gameplay looks like, because you know it's not going to be very inspiring gameplay, but it will, you know, like it'll be kind of like a fun.
yeah, but I would still 100% build. If you were building a game that you were like, you kind of saw it as independent. You're like, I don't want to, you know, you're saying like you don't want to derail the current RPG story, but then you built out something based off of what you said with like, if you had like, I don't know, like a rover type game, I could still totally build that into the game of making it, whether it's directly tied to like something that the characters like experienced, or if they themselves are like behind some or part of it in a more like Easter egg sort of way. I would still want to make that canon. That would still be so fun.
Yeah, I could see it being fun, like almost even, you know how so you know how I guess the premise of how people in your story
Yes. Mm-hmm.
be a prologue to
Right. Well, and who's to say that it couldn't be like this was so one of the scientist characters. If I build this into game 3, which is supposed to take place before the events of game number 1, in which one of the more like smart inventy characters is like, okay, I built a simulation. Here's how it's gonna look like, and then he presents it to Nathan, who becomes the main antagonist, but is the one that gets them out of the world, and he's like, yeah, I see it, but now we're not gonna do that. But like it's using that game concept, or saying, okay, yes, that's the perfect plan. Like they've been building out like this type of simulation, which then is the canon way that your game is the simulation that's referred to in order to map out their plan of getting to the to a new planet.
Yeah, you can definitely play around with it. It's definitely, although it's like currently in the pipeline, it's pretty far, like, full.
Sure.
Other stuff being more upfront as far as like it's more electronic projects that you could job. So there's just a couple more immediate things, but that's
Oh, for sure.
that
Okay. No, yeah, and I certainly don't want to like burden you or like give you assignments to like be part of this. I'm more just like, if there was a way like to engage you purely that you would be engaged with it, like I would definitely adapt it so that it can encompass what you're interested in too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess with tradition, they always had elements of your RPG, but I would rather,
Oh.
and hey, I'm sort of doing this because I feel like
Yeah. No, yeah, you have my permission to get into the other way. So yeah, 100%. Like, well, it's in the same way, but yeah, the reference. So yeah, no, I'm totally on board with like, all those cross elements.
Okay, here, wait. I have a rough draft, sort of the first. I just posted it.
Pull up your streams, I guess.
Oh, message is too long. Kill me. Alright, hold on.
Kill me.
What? Yeah. My bad.
I guess we didn't get your consent, but I had said that I was fine with any of my.
That's ugly.
Like at this point, as we're brainstorming for this to make a VOD,
Sorry, that's
be able
what.
to like look back in time.
It looks really ugly, but I want to space it out more. Hold on.
Coney. Also, I'm going to join from my computer. Touch right back.
Alright, this should hopefully help. Again, think of me right now as a Fiverr video editor. I have no idea any of the stuff. I'm just kind of writing down as I'm doing my edits that feel appropriate. But in terms of the marketing side, of course, if you're still here, I can't see your camera.
Yes,
of
yeah.
course.
Oh, sorry, no.
Uh,
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Alright.
Yeah, in terms of the marketing side, this is kind of what I envision that would help also maybe with the coming along of the RPG is starting with like I think starting with like the very first scene, because that's probably going to be one of the most influential scenes maybe in my head. I mean, at least that's how I don't remember exactly. I just the only thing I actually really remember right now is the fire scene. I remember the house fire scene.
Do you want me to read it? Like, I have everything up right now. Like, I can just, as it's raw, like, read through things if you want.
You can either read it to me now, or before you let it all out of your system, you could, after this, read it to like the camera for the first time again. So it's like because maybe it's like a charged up meter, right? Like maybe you're so ready to share again that like I could be there, but I could also have you
No, it's
film
one of
it.
those things where it's like,
it's a process improvement for me. So I'd rather have something like I don't mind sharing raw things to the camera, but I also want it to build and grow and know that whatever I'm sharing can still be built and grown upon. And it doesn't take any of like my joy or energy to share it again. So like
That's fair.
I'd rather dive into specifics here, be able to share with you the tangible of like
Let's
this
do
is
it.
what I have so far, and even just have you critique it.
Honestly, as you do that, I'm going to not write down notes. Sorry, I am gonna write down notes. I'm not gonna write down criticism. I'm just gonna write down notes. That I think like that catch my eye of like, oh, you said this, you should include that. Like that's perfect. So I'm gonna take notes.
And even as I share my, you can't even see my shared screen. Just even for your reference.
Actually, well, I guess what would you share? 'Cause that would be-
I have
Oh, I can't see your screen. Oh my gosh.
Sick. Okay. But it's still not my camera.
No, not your camera, which sucks.
Ugh, I really want to do something about that.
Yeah, I know. So
So yeah, there are a lot of things that are disjointed, and honestly, sometimes even when I want to work on RPG stuff and I'm not inspired to like create new content, I'm just organizing. So I even like to color code. That's always been something I do in my scripts, where I'm like, I just gotta color code names, and I've changed a lot of names around. So
that's okay.
Sometimes it's not helpful if anyone else were to read what I have, because I've like maybe didn't reference every time that I change a name, and they're like, what, why is there and the main reason I do this is because I'm trying not to have people that are relevant or active in my life right now as names of characters that I named like 10 years ago, and because I'm trying to remove that element of like having, you know, family members that are like, why'd you paint me in this light? I'm like, I didn't. Like, for example, the main love interest to the main character, I named her Amy 10 years ago when I first created her.
Yeah, that's good.
But I'm like, I'm married to an Amy now, so I can't I can't have her name in there. So I actually asked Amy, hey, what would you rename this character to? And she was like, oh, I think you should rename her Lindsay. And I was like, I actually like the name Lindsay, and I don't have any special attachment there. So I renamed the character Lindsay. So I guess it's somewhat helpful that if I see where I've still rewritten Amy, I'm like, oh, yes, Amy has renamed her Lindsay. So, like, that's helpful. Fair.
Also, your screen stopped working for me. I don't know why.
What?
I know, it's so weird.
It's gotta be a you thing. There's no way.
It is. But it was working before.
Do you need a new computer? Aren't you, like, due?
Nah, this one's good. I can see Danny's stuff. I don't get it.
I guess Danny can stream my stream, and that's the only way. That's the only way.
That is the only way, yeah. it's the only way.
Alright, well, anyhow.
Yeah, but you can keep going, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, do you want me to...
Yeah.
But, like,
that's fine.
I'm now in the beginning cutscene, which is the prologue to Game 1. And as and ask me questions, stop me at any time, because I can't remember how much you either remember or that I did or didn't share. And visuals would be so helpful right now, because I have it up in front of me, but either way.
We'll get the visuals, don't worry.
I've created... So in my head, but largely where I've fleshed out the most work is actually between what I've denoted as games 1 and game 3. So
game 3, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to... Oh. That was stupid. The last thing I heard was game 1, game 3. Sorry.
Okay.
That shit crashed.
No, all good. Sorry, I was I saw that you left and came back. So,
okay, here we go.
Game 1, game 3. And I use Nathan as a reference, and Nathan is the name of the main antagonist of game 1. He's the protagonist of game 3, and I sort of have him in game 2 as kind of a I'm not really sure what to do with him. But the easiest way for me to describe him is because Game 3 is the prequel to Game 1. And
Okay.
like I said, I use Nathan as a reference point, so like in terms of his age, that's where I just kind of count the years. Because in Game 1, he is like, how old did I make him? I drew it on my map. He's in his 50s. His kids are grown. He's the antagonist. And I refer to like the milestone point. I call it Nathan's journey, and that's basically when he, along with a select group of people who he deemed to be useful in building his new world, boarded their ships and they departed from their current planet and found life and started life on a new planet. So that I call Nathan's journey. So Game 1 begins 22 years after Nathan's journey, meaning when they first landed on that planet and started life, they've had 22 years to build a civilization. Now, as they've built that civilization for 22 years, they really, and I call it the 7 years of peace. The first 7 years of building that civilization, Nathan is the, like, town leader. He's respected. He's trying to build everything, and he has a good heart and good intentions for everybody. And, but he came from a very broken past, so that's why he wants to start fresh. However, around the 7 years after he's got a wife, he's got kids, they're growing up, he's raising them, he starts to get sucked back into this sort of dark place where he was when he was on the previous planet, in which his main mission was to seek out kind of the gimmick, and what I have built within, if it's an RPG, is these flashlights. So like there are these, I'm still kind of working through what the lore behind the flashlights, if it's more magical, if it's more scientific, elements of both, but essentially this is kind of like the holy grail, in which if you have a flashlight you have some sort of power, because there are so many flashlights in existence that when you flash it into your skin you develop that power. So there's some of the core original ones that I created were, let me pull that up, where's my folder, here's where I even need to be more organized. Know where I put things. Okay. So yeah, the core flashlights that I created, there's a weather flashlight, a strength flashlight, and then a fortune telling flashlight. So like some are more powerful than others. It's kind of like, I guess, abilities in Pokemon. Some where you're like, okay, this is fine, but this is like, I'm not going to dominate the world with this. And then there's others that are like, this is going to change your whole life. If you have the fortune telling one and you're able to, some of the abilities of that, you can communicate with the dead, and you can, you have some degree of psychic powers, in which I'm going to create some limits on it. Like this is, you're going to be able to do major damage with it. And then there's like kind of like a run-of-the-mill one, like a strength one. Basically, you just like, you get biceps and a six-pack, but you're like strong. So it's like funny things like that are also useful, in which there's a reason why people would seek out after these flashlights, but in a similar sort of way that you're like, okay, I want to bury what's just going to destroy the world or cause chaos, is kind of why he left in the first place. But what eventually causes him to go crazy, and this is where then Game 1 will begin 15 years after this point, is he realizes that his wife had kept a lot of secrets from him, that she is related to the, and again, still trying to build out if this is more a scientific or a magical element, but essentially is related to the original crafter of the flashlights. And furthermore, that their kids are starting to bear powers of actually internally having some elements of certain flashlights because they have special gifts. And this is actually part of the mystery as well, is because I have kind of left it vague as to which child he sees the demonstration of the flashlights in, if it's all three of his kids, if it's one of his kids, if it's two out of the three. And partly because maybe I'm still working it out, and partly because it might be an interesting facet later in the story, is when he just has a mental breakdown. He realizes that it was his destiny all along to pursue it, and he just goes completely off the deep end. And when this happens, he basically abducts certain people from the village who he's closer with, because part of him as well is he's also has an existential crisis, and I've written some dialogue points of this as well, is he's like kind of realized that after the 7 years of peace, he's kind of bored. Like he's a dad, he runs this town, like people are just living life. It's like normal and it's just too quiet. And you know, he's kind of like mom, you know, like you can't just have a good thing. You kind of have to go and ruin it, you know. And so when he realizes that this is what he needed to be doing all along and just, you know, like has this mental breakdown. He goes and abducts the people of his village that he sees as useful in building his mission because he's essentially kind of wants to continue to pursue the power of the flashlights, sees this current planet, and even finds evidence that the current planet has a hidden flashlight or multiple hidden flashlights and that they are scattered across the universe. So he's learning way more about his flashlight endeavor than he ever did in his previous life. And he's like, I have to pursue it now. I'm sorry, I have to walk out on my family. And, you know, there's obviously consequences to that, but is in very stark opposition to what the needs of the village is that he created. So they excommunicate him, they banish him. But he's also like, kind of, and in some comedic ways, but mostly not. I kind of see it as like the, you know, like Sonic Boom, where it's like Eggman lives in like his own little like rock hideout, and then sometimes when he's feeling like it, he brings his robots to wreak havoc on the village. That's kind of what Nathan is starting to do. He's kind of descended into this full madness that he even finds pleasure in just like entertaining himself by terrorizing the people that he worked so hard to build new fresh lives for because he's insane. So that's a little bit about like, so game one kind of is the onset of what like there has been more recent, like he's been crazy for about 15 years, and the village has been able to make do, but they're now at a point where Nathan is doubling down on his efforts because now that his kids have become full adults, they are actually demonstrating more so than ever that not only can they rival their father, but that they're actually like intrinsically aware of the secrets of the flashlights. And so Nathan is trying to get even closer to them, but in somewhat of an evil way. And then his sons are not for it, and they now have a obligation to protect the village and have started to essentially they're crowned like the leaders of their new village, in which the oldest child, Perry, is very like this is everything that he's dreamed of and wants. Kenny, the middle child, who's more of the brainiac, is less interested in the leadership, you know, externally, and is fine to help make decisions on the back end because he's also like a history buff, and he's very much enjoys like the politics and workings of government. And then where the main character of game number one, the main protagonist, is James, who's the third of the three brothers, and he is kind of the odd one out. He's kind of the non-gifted of the three. Everybody's like, James is going to amount to nothing. He's basically like the Lucas equivalent of Mother 3, where it's like, yeah, we know that you're special, but like you're a pussy. So you're not going to amount to anything. And he's been kind of fed this. Why are you smiling? And it was funny because at the time that I was writing this, like, so man, I still really wish that you could see what I have here. But so James is 17. What's your idea? You're gonna like FaceTime me? Okay, cool. So I was starting to actually talk about the three brothers who are James is the main character of game number one. So so let me actually read what I wrote 10 years ago about this. At least I think this is what I originally wrote. So it'll be interesting to see either names that I didn't change or contradictions I just made. So the present time will refer to the story as the player is playing the game. And I didn't mention this already, but as like game number 1, you don't play as James, you would play as a character who's called the Inspector. And the origins of the Inspector who you play as are actually unknown, and it kind of adds to some mystery elements of the game that I've thought a little bit about, but not too much about. But it's relatively unimportant to the progression of the story. However, it's kind of like one of those things where everybody's like, "Oh, I haven't met you before," and anybody playing the game would be like, "How the hell have you not met this guy before? You literally, there's only 50 people on this island, like everybody, or on this planet, and Nathan brought everybody over that he wanted. How do you not know somebody?" And so that's kind of where that's never going to be fully addressed, at least as I've sort of thought about it. But that's why it's kind of funny, is that nobody knows who you are. I have some thoughts behind it, but I won't share them now. So the present time will refer to the story as the player is playing the game, player being the Inspector. Each event that the player experienced in the game as the Inspector is what is known, and what I deemed it, I called it the present timeline back then. Now I'm kind of calling it game 1, but the present timeline might be an easier way to see things. So in the present, James is 17 years old. That means that his older brother Kenny is 20 and Perry is 23. So I'm very much inspired by us 3 brothers and our moniker here, and also probably elements of us poured into the characters that you might see. But hopefully, when what you may think as your equivalent does something that is not indicative of you, don't be offended, because it's not entirely you. I think I told this to Danny one time before, years ago, but honestly, every character is just me. So. Or partly, but
Of course I
just
know.
as I ran to them. Of course I know him. He's me. And also something as well that I kind of went back and forth on, because I had Monica initially help to kind of edit and be she read through a lot. And it's funny, and actually for some reason my ESSA Scala 18 offloaded that. I tried to salvage as much as I could, but I don't know why. So stupid email. But if I can go back and see a lot of the edits and just comments that she made, because actually at that time I thought it was a genius idea for me to call, so that Nathan's evil bad guy name would be Civilis, and I didn't realize, because I didn't even know what syphilis was, how close that sounded. And so I partly was dissuaded to be like, oh, I better find him a new bad guy name, because Monica pointed that out and thought it was no one's going to take him seriously. But then I thought about it again, and I was like, well, actually, that's part of it. I think that's part of the character. Nathan wouldn't think of it that way. He just thinks of himself as being less than a civil person, and that's why he's like, yes, so I'm now calling myself Civilis, and everybody else knows it and sees it around him, but he doesn't. So I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna. Even though I honestly very innocently came up with it and did not realize how close it sounded to syphilis, I'm keeping it, because I'm putting that into the character. Exactly. So now that it's there, I'm like, all right, I'm not backing down from this. So, I guess I made him 40. He's 45 years old at this present timeline, which made him about he was in his early 20s when he first had his first son, Perry. Before he came to be known as Civilis, a young boy named Nathan Messina was tired of the injustices of the government of his current planet. Along with his best friend, who I don't know if I've gone through many name changes for this character as well. I probably have, but right now I have him called Elton. Probably because I was in my Elton John era at the time that I started writing this. And then I realized that maybe kind of sounded stupid. And I think I wrote down, I also called him Eli, I think at one point, and then I was like, no. So we're just going with Elton for now. But I specifically had his name start with the letter E, because his nickname is Cody, because he's oh, I'm a science guy, so I'm Code E, and then it just sounds like Cody, so everybody calls him Cody. So he'll eventually in this game be called Cody. Also because I wanted to create some type of farther reaching, so that he's not as obviously connected to other character other flashbacks, because he even physically will undergo certain metamorphosis type things, so that it's not obvious that this is the same person who, if not for Elton, Nathan would have never been able to make this dream a reality of moving to a new planet. Elton was the brains behind everything, but as I want him to be introduced in game 1, I don't want that to be well known until game 3, and then there were like the little Easter eggs where it's like, oh, that was all the same person. He just went by different names. He looked differently, and there's an explanation for it. So as confusing as I've already made that sound, I've just as much confused myself with not even keeping a consistent name. So along with his friend Elton, the two wanted to harness the power of the flashlights to bring their families out of poverty. So that was the kind of initial reasoning there, but there was kind of more to that. They knew that if they worked hard, they could destroy their government. As the two boys grew older, they knew that overthrowing the government was unrealistic because the flashlights existed on a different on a distant planet known, and I think I called it Aliastel, and I wrote down somewhere that that just means like everyone's star or something really generic and basic, but it's like it's supposed to be like when a name to a planet that's like kind of like that's the whatchamacallit, because no one would ever go there. So it's supposed to kind of be like a myth or a legend, but they believe it. And they're like, no, this Aliastel is a real thing. Everybody is saying that it's not, but we know that it's a distant planet and we can get there and we can get the power of the flashlights. When Nathan was 23, he planned a voyage that would take him and Elton to Aliastel to find the flashlights. They prepared to take many people with them so that they could live on this unknown but habitable planet. Civilis earned his name from the government on his planet because of how often he actively defied civil order. Civilis gathered people with important skills and people who he wanted to live a life out of poverty. A total of around 35 were gathered up and put onto ships that Elton designed and built himself, along with his two young assistants, Kareem and Karu, who I think I also made at some point Elton's cousins. That's why there's big familial ties in a lot of it. But maybe I created that later. But either way, Kareem and Karu are characters that are like they're the comic relief idiot bad guys. Think of the like Home Alone type stupid idiots that are just to bring comic relief, but they have somewhat of a deep story as well. If I were to flesh it out, everything is somewhat intentional. Of course, Civilis did not want to leave his family behind, and so he brought with them his mother, his younger half-brother, his wife Emily, and his 1-year-old son Perry. After building up a basic village with the leadership of Civilis and Elton, the two ironically incorporated laws in a police force that the village must abide by. So I think, as I initially had thought of them, and again, this is like 16-year-old me, I didn't even know what a libertarian was. I made them libertarians, and then, but they weren't just like, I guess they weren't really. No, they weren't really libertarians. They were like, anti-establishment, anti-government, because they're young and somewhat reckless, and they're like, yeah, this is how like we don't want to have any rules or laws because we hate rules and laws. And then they realize, oh crap, we have to have rules and laws, and that's just kind of comes with maturity, and maybe there's a deeper life lesson in there, but they're still very much true to the the liberties they want to afford the people. So they're not trying to create a big government, but as they've brought all the people, it'll become apparent that everybody that they've brought is really needy and dependent, and some of them are actually really annoying, and it'll be funny as those characters come about. So they recognize the need to guide their village, and at that point, when they made it to their new planet, they weren't as focused on honoring their dream of harnessing the flashlights. In many ways, they realized they no longer needed the flashlights. However, Civilis never forgot about his childhood dream, and after 7 peaceful years, he was suddenly aroused by a mysterious power within his own family unit. Civilis discovered a connection with his wife and the magical flashlights. His discovery was made possible by the mysterious powers exhibited through one of his 3 sons. His children knew of the locations of the flashlights on the planet. They led him to one of the flashlights, known as the psychic flashlight. So this is the one that I think is the fortune-telling one. After finding this powerful flashlight, Civilis was led crazy because of the unlimited psychic power. Okay, so yeah, part of it is the flashlight that's also driving him to insanity. That the flashlight surged into his brain. Civilis tried to recruit his boys further, but they, as well as everyone in the village, grew afraid of him and refused to help him find any more flashlights. Enraged, Civilis left from the village and frequently made attempts to capture his wife and sons because he could use them to find more flashlights. Emily could no longer communicate with her possessed husband and married the chief of police, who promised to protect their family from Civilis. Once the oldest son reached the age of 18, he became the new leader of the village. Until then, the police chief was the one who was effectively in charge. And I don't think I mentioned this, but I think they also banished Elton. He's more like a disgraced kind of he was a legend, but then when Civilis went crazy, he didn't want to experience that backlash, but he also didn't support him, at least not in an external sort of way, and also just disappeared. So that's what I have as the premise of game one. And so the main, yeah. Do you want me to then read now the prologue, or do you have like questions or comments or things from what I just read? What I just gave? It's it's the primary premise of game one, which there's no reference to game two, which game two takes place
you open this
10 to
notepad.
15 years after the events of game one conclude. So like for James is like a dad and having kids, like he's, so but that's plays a part in it. And then game three is 12 years before Nathan's journey, and actually so what I talked about in terms of like Nathan and Elton and them, rising up together to do this, that's game three is about that. Okay, is to read the no, so you're saying the map is video one, this prologue is video two. Oh yeah, sorry, now I'm looking. No, I see it. Oh yeah, now I see you. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Right. Especially game two. I have no reason, because it's not directly related to the events of game one, there's no reason to allude to it. Now, in terms of like game three, there definitely is a what happened before that's fairly fleshed out. So I'm fine as a misdirection to think that if there were to be a sequel, that it would be the premise of game three, but actually game two, which is like, I kind of think of it as I feel like a lot of movies and like TV shows, whatever, do this. It's like if they, or like big series where it's like the second installment takes place more in the near term after the first one, but it might focus on a few different characters and is more of an offshoot. So like basically, yeah, that's like what game two is it focuses on the character of Max, who's the fourth of the brothers, who was born like anyways. So yeah, I don't need to bring that up now. He's But yeah, okay. So like keep it pretty broad. Refer to the characters like I guess with the role that they play rather than their name and further backstory and the why. Well, I guess the why is probably important, but like the who is masked. Yeah, the first scene of game one. Hmm. So do you want me to just like make up random voices so you know that it's a different person talking? It's quick, but it's still like there's all right. There's like actually no, there's only two people talking here. I don't know. It's hard. This is a lot more visual now, but I can like if I read stage notes, can I read stage notes with no names? Okay. So okay. Should I refer to them? And actually, funny enough, even before I named them, I called them like like oldest brother one, brother two, like mom. Would that? Okay. Okay. All right. So if I say, all right, so I'll try. I guess I'll try to open it up here. So the oldest brother is first seen along with his mother and two out of the hold on, 2 of his 3 younger brothers. The setting is inside of a narrow hallway belonging to a villain. The mood is of urgency. The first oldest brother is walking his. I'm trying to yep, no, is walking the youngest brother around the age of 3 over to their mother. Hold mommy's hand, okay? I gotta go get back to, and then, well, I guess now he's using names, but he's referencing that he's going back to get their missing brother. He then looks over to the other brother, the third of the 4 that's in the room, and says to him, quickly and safely, get everybody out of here, hurry. And then the mother says, please be careful. I know you will, and wait. I'm so nervous now. It's okay. I guess maybe it's easier if I don't read it like this, but the mother says to them, please be careful. I know you will, and I'll see you at home for dinner. I love you. And with a pause, the oldest brother says, yes, Mom, I love you too. He runs off into a door on the right, while the third and fourth brothers, along with their mom, exit to the right. The oldest brother calls to his second brother off screen. Oh, there you are. Don't worry. I've got you, brother. A mysterious voice calls out to them. Don't move any further. The oldest brother calls back out. Get out of my way. No, stop. Smoke fills the hallway. He coughs and he calls out to his second brother. And then that's the end of the prologue. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely rewrite it so that I can more fluidly read that in somewhat of a dramatic way. It's definitely hard because like I'm obviously he's calling out like Kenny, no, like he's using the names and he's like addressing them. But I can rewrite it to where it's just a single narrator voice of me saying it in broad terms. Okay, I'm gonna make that comment for myself. Okay. So as far as sharing it with you on here, because you probably remember that after this prologue ends, the game begins. And this is where I have your kind of classic like character selection screen where you get to choose if you're a male or female. This is how I built it out originally. So you get to choose male or female. And you basically, I don't know, in my head I kind of had like a kind of like, how like the Pokemon professor flashes on screen, that's the only thing that you can see, and they're kind of talking to you as you're building your character, like, are you a boy or a girl? What is your name?
I'd be down if you want to cut it. I don't really mind either way. I feel like that's kind of the less interesting part, so I'm not really.
Oh, Dan's talking to that. Okay. And so basically, yeah, the chief is now starting to go like, "Good morning, Inspector," and then you just get to choose your gender, and then there's only 2, and then then the chief will ask you, "What did you do over the weekend?" And this would actually I created so that this plays a part in which of the flashlights you actually obtain later on. And you have like, I think there's a couple of default choices that I was like, maybe if I give like, I slept in, I played video games, I worked out, or I read books, like, and then he gives you a generic response. That sounds nice. If only I had time for that. Now, anyways, and then continues on. So it's like, it almost seems like a throwaway, but it's going to play a part later on. Actually, as a funny random side note, you probably, oh no, wait, yeah, go ahead. No, actually, it was totally random. No, it made me think about Deltarune with the whole like your choices don't matter and when you built the character. But like, did you watch the guy's video where he's like, oh, actually, in the codes, your choices in that initial selection screen will probably come up later. Yeah, Which I don't even remember what I did. Right, because I think you had already told me that it wasn't gonna matter, so I was just like A, and then or I let Amy do it. I don't even remember. But anyways, sorry. Back to what we were going. What were you gonna say? Oh, right. And and I guess like and I'm totally fine. It doesn't even yeah, they could type it out. So if they're like sex, something stupid or funny that they want to put in or like I banged your mom. And it could be like something more arbitrary like the number of characters like determines which flashlight you get or like if you used like 4 or 5 similar letters to whatever it is, like the game can pick that up. Like I don't know, that may even be just too complicated, but I think it would be funny to have something that like people have to actually replay it to figure out, wait a second, can I get a different flashlight if I give a different response? How do I even do that? How do they even correlate? Like how did I get the strength flashlight when I chose read, or like or oh, that makes sense that when I put like that I went for a run that I got the strength flashlight, or like oh, like the weather flashlight when I don't know, like I have a laser flashlight too. I think if somebody played video games, that was cool. Actually, here's what I had. Um, if you said if I with those 4 that I listed out, sleep, play video games, worked out, and read. If you chose worked out, it was obviously the strength flashlight. If you chose video games, it was the laser flashlight. If you chose read, it was the I don't I didn't actually I hadn't thought that far, I guess. Oh no, I only had 2 available flashlights at this particular time. So they would be mapped to like so read was also laser and sleep was also strength, I think, is how I thought of it. Um, but anyhow. So yeah, what were you gonna say something? Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll just keep going with what I have here. So I have the chief says, that sounds nice. If only I had the time for that. Anyways, I have a new assignment for you today. This one is very important, and well, let's just say I'd only want you to work on this case. There's a problem with Civilus locating yet another object of destruction. Because of the appearance of these objects, we call them flashlights. So he's kind of given like that. He's basically telling the inspector, which again, if you play through the game, it should be funny to look back and be like, one, how the hell does the inspector not know any of this? And why does nobody know the inspector? And why does he say he just wants him specifically on the case? Don't worry. I thought of these all things. But anyways, that's why the dialogue is formatted this way. Civilus and why he's explaining everything, which makes sense if you're like, a, if you're new. Um, oh, you take your headphones off. Oh no, you guys having dinner soon? Oh, okay. Actually, I mean, yeah, I could. I'll head off then. Um, uh, oh yeah, so basically the reason he's explaining is because like, oh, this is the easiest way to explain to a first time player to the game that doesn't know the lore and the series, whatever, to this is where they're getting everything explained to them. But also it's funny that it's because it's so clear because the inspector is on the same plane as you, yet they're still part of the story somehow. So, anyways, he's explaining everything. Civilus has been attacking the village for some time in search of a boy who supposedly has information on the flashlight. So even he is being very vague to the inspector. So this actually could be a good thing for me to read as well. Your objective is to get information from the boy and find the flashlight first. Understand? Good. Now go. Also, here are more files that you can read. And then the player can actually go through and read a bit more if they want. Here we go. Here's the file that contains limited information on the 4 known flashlights. And I put in notes here just for us to know, but I guess for the player, they're not going to know this until it's revealed later on. But when the chief is saying the boy, he's referring to James. And the chief has chosen to be very mysterious with his first dialogue scene, as he knows more about what is happening than he lets on. And then at this point, the inspector, which is you, gets off the train, leading to a path leading to the small village, known as the Autonomous Square on the planet of Aliastel. The village, upon first glance, looks somewhat medieval with stone housing. Each house has a mailbox with the family name or position within the town, for example, shop owner. The sky is murky and a map displays the location of the immediate objectives and where to go. The first objective is to locate James, who's on a grassy hill next to the village. The inspector can explore the village and visit the houses before starting the main game and completing the first immediate objective. This is important in picking up clues as to an incident that happened in town, the very incident regarding the deaths, Perry and Kenny Messina. Funny enough, I put this all in here, but actually, you don't know until James tells you in like literally a few minutes about Perry and Kenny's death. Okay. Right, they're vague. Actually, I don't even know that I named the. Oh, this is funny. I don't even know that I named the chief. The chief actually does have a backstory, um, but I don't know that I've named him yet. And he comes from a long line of like police chiefs and stuff. I don't know. Actually, he kind of like I his inspiration for me was kind of like a combination of like if Joe is actually a decent guy, combined with like Tom Gill, like Sandy's brother. Like that's my inspiration for the chief character. Um, mhm. Oh yeah, yeah. I need to have better names because I basically I mean it's for, no what no you don't what you don't have to apologize. No, I've made it like it's foreign to other people but not to us as like a like when I say youngest brother sometimes it's like the youngest of the you know it's like basically it's a Sammy, Danny, Josh, and Eli that I've all built in, but you know again they're not exactly they're just more personifications of the four of us because I love the dynamic and age and I feel like it makes for interesting characters as they develop. To have a brother that's like so much younger who is going to play a part in the story, but then you have the main three brothers and that's where it happens. So I need to denote them better so that we know that they're all brothers, but that the first three are like the more competent characters that we're to be focusing on. Yeah. But I also should set James apart too. Like I should have some other way to identify him. Um like maybe I don't know. That's also somewhat generic. That doesn't say like oh the angsty teen or the like so I need something more. Yeah, not James. James well actually it's the very beginning of this is how it gets to like because Perry and Kenny literally just died. And so now everybody is panicking because they're like who's going to lead us? Is James going to lead us? And James is like I'm just 17, guys. And they're like, but you'll be 18. That's when Perry started. And then people are like, oh, but you're not Perry. He's not like his brother. You know, so like that's where this is literally happening now in real time, and the inspector's going to be witnessing it. So that will play into it for sure. But at the onset of building this, he's no better than a nobody in a way, but he's going to become a a great somebody. Yeah, I guess yeah, brother 3 could be the best generic way. You know, the third brother or like the the lesser brother. Well, well, yeah, and then they'll realize eventually, like, but because by the end of the story, they'll be like, he's no longer the lesser brother, he is the great. You know, like that. That'll be. All right, let me actually put it in for myself. Well, but they only need to be referred to in the prologue, and then after that, they don't really need to be referred to much anymore. I guess technically Max, who's like he's the Eli equivalent, so he is. So then I guess James would just be the. I guess he could be called the. He could just be called the brother. I don't know. It's kind of. Well, we can kind of figure something out. Right. Yeah. Right. Right. Failure brother. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Well, I'll think on that some more. But I'll let you go because I know you got to go eat dinner, and honestly, I'll probably go to bed soon. Oh, thank you, brother. No, but no, like seriously, that is helpful. Like I really appreciate it. Like I'm honored that you're like taking up this charge with me and partnering to like help me at least do something with it. And by all means, like if you have suggestions or changes, like I think like part of this, I guess they're changes in terms of the presentation, but they're not like actual deep changes. I'm fine to get any of your feedback. So like really true. Right. Focus. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, brother. I appreciate it. I will. I know what I need to do now in terms of video plan, so I'll pump something out and then we'll go from there. Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds